right, everybody. Once again from the Ashes We Rise, the Black Phoenix Podcast, MC and TR. You'll have to excuse my camera. I've been having technical difficulties these last few weeks, but we're gonna tighten it up and get it right. TR was good.
Hey, I know my video is good. You struggle streaming over there.
Man, I'm struggle streaming like, man, this is terrible.
Look, for the folks out there, when it comes to doing podcasting or YouTube, it is a lot of work that a lot of YouTubers do not tell you. It's a lot of troubleshooting. So at some point, we want to create a Patreon where we can talk to people and help them get their YouTube channels off the ground, though. But yeah, this is all practice, and we'll be able to help you out when we get things moving on Patreon. But yeah, we got a
And
fun show.
clearly, TR is going to be leading those conversations on the setup piece. I have other skill sets, but technology ain't one of them.
I mean, after we get through with it, you'll probably be an expert on the troubleshooting. You'll know what questions to ask.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so we got a fun show. Let's get to it.
Let's
go. That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves. That's what he was doing. I thought long and hard about this over the last few hours because I had no intentions, Molly, of talking about this at all.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because it was a one-on-one, I wouldn't say a conversation, but it was a one-on-one confrontation. But then I wake up and everybody from ESPN and my agent and everybody else were sending me that this thing had gone viral. And so ultimately it was unavoidable, and that is why I have to discuss it now. That wasn't a basketball player confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father. And I can't sit here and be angry or feel slighted by LeBron James in any way in that regard.
Man, Stephen A.
By all accounts, he's obviously a wonderful family man and a wonderful father who cares very, very deeply about his son. And based on some of the comments that he had heard, or shall I say, I think he thought he heard, he clearly took exception to some of the things that he heard me say, and he confronted me about it. For the record, his agent and friend, Rich Paul, has my number. Maverick Carter, who works under him, has my number. LeBron James knows how to get in contact with me if he wanted to. He never called. Because had he called and wanted to talk to me, I would have accepted that call. Had he wanted to see me, I would have flown out and I would have seen him and I would have had a conversation man to man.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. Man, Stephen A is going through it. This reminded me of the Will Smith slap where you see someone upset, said something about their family. And the only thing, I mean, when I say the slap, I mean like the impact on it, but they're two totally different situations though. And I think Stephen A. Smith wasn't deserved as much as, well, actually, I don't think Chris Rock was deserved either, but Will Smith is just crashing out. And we have LeBron James almost crashing out on national TV. And this was during a halftime game. This wasn't like at the end of the game or the beginning of the game. This was at halftime. He went over and confronted Stephen A. I got a lot of questions. And one of my first question is like, Stephen, you ain't got no people to stop LeBron? Like talking to you like that in front of everybody? Like nobody was like, hey, Bron, I know how it is. I know you, this is your place or something. This is your arena, but you ain't about to be talking to my mans over there. Like that ain't about to happen. But I mean, we gotta get a different entourage. That's a question I don't see a lot of people asking, first of all. But go ahead, MC.
I'm trying to be empathetic to LeBron. He's a parent. He used his fatherhood / nepotism to get his son to the league.
Sure.
I tried to find the terrible, horrible things that Stephen A. said about Bronny, and I couldn't find anything outside him saying he doesn't really understand why he's in the league. And I mean, if you look at those numbers, it makes sense. I just pulled up his stats. He's averaging 1.4 points per game, half of a rebound, half of an assist, and shooting 25%.
Strong numbers.
Those are definitely G League numbers. Bronny's definitely there because of his pops. Um, that's one side of it. LeBron is being a good dad, right? The other side of it is Bronny is 20 years old. He's not a kid anymore.
Mhm.
It looks kind of weird to have your pops still fighting your battles for you at this point in life.
Exactly.
You kind of should probably transition to an advisory role at this point because he's not a kid anymore. But I'm not understanding why these NBA players are so hypersensitive. Stephen A gets paid to give opinions. Most of the time, he's hit or miss on how right or wrong he is, right?
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's an opinion. He doesn't have to agree with it. This brings up an issue of masculinity, and I'm gonna get to a little bit later, but that's my initial thoughts.
Yeah, I think Stephen A. Even him just discussing this, and I know he just signed that massive contract, and it's hard to be sad on a day where you sign $100 million contract. But I don't know if Stephen A was really sad. We got another video that's going to show a different light on it. But Stephen A having to come out here, give out this somewhat apology and have cover for LeBron. I mean, LeBron, honestly, though, he could have lost a lot of things that night, though, because Stephen A was kind of in a win-win position. He could have did what it reminded me of when you remember when Shaq and Barkley got into it. Do you remember what he said when that fight before the fight ensued?
No, remind me.
He said he knew he couldn't take, and I'm paraphrasing. He knew he couldn't take Shaq, so he just needed to start the fight early, and somebody will break it up.
Yeah, that's pretty wise. But look, I think LeBron is wise enough to know he can't get physical with this, right? The most he
Yeah,
can do is say something to Stephen A.
I mean that's
And
close enough. He got
not
it in his
really,
face.
not really, because it really makes LeBron look bad, man. Like if he gonna sit here and get heated every time somebody throw a shot at Bronny, you might as well square up and fight the rest of the league because I
Hey,
guarantee you most of the league feel like he's not there. And here's the other piece of this. Do you know who Kobe Covington is?
no.
He's a UFC fighter. He dropped his two
Oh yeah,
cents on this.
yeah. Okay,
He basically said LeBron picked his battles on this one. And if somebody like him would have made the same comments, LeBron wouldn't keep that same energy.
yeah. No, it's one of those things where if this had been he ain't this is the same problem I had with Will Smith going after Chris Rock and LeBron James going after Stephen A. Smith. And everybody knows uh Stephen A. Smith, he's not gonna be able to hold a candle to LeBron James. He ain't gonna be able to do anything. He might get one punch off, and it's one of those pity punches. And that's what I'm saying. Like if he does what Shaq did, just get that first one in. That's the only thing people will be talking about because you're not expected to win that one. But yeah, he's definitely in the wrong on this one. He checked Stephen A. Smith, he checked him, his man card, and then also Stephen A. comes out on national TV airwaves and starts talking about how Brown's out there as a parent. LeBron could have lost a lot though, because if Stephen A had did anything, he would have been in the right. Because most men, you square up on a man like that, you get in his face, they're coming after you. LeBron, he wouldn't have did this if a woman had been critical of his Bronny James. What are he going to send Savannah to do that or something? He would have said anything. He sure as hell ain't said nothing about Skip. Skip been going in extra on him. And then Dave Portnoy, you know who Dave Portnoy is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Dave Portnoy has some choice words about LeBron James and Bronny James. Like he checked he won't, there's plenty of people he could have easily went after. Plenty of people have been like, you know what? Dave Portnoy, he was talking that shit. If he squared up on Skip Bayless, hey, it was like, yeah, we kind of get it. Stephen A. Smith is the wrong person he should not have squared up on because Stephen Smith he's kind of like pulling his punches, honestly, when he had, if you want to call it criticism. And then people were like, well, you got to remember Bronny James, he almost lost him and he had the heart thing. And I'm like, no, I get all that. But if somebody had some type of medical issue you can't talk about anymore, they're playing the professional league. Obviously, he moves past that issue. So who is off limits? Who is on limits and who is off limits though? Because you guys didn't show the NBA as a whole did not show any sympathy towards the Ball brothers. They got to smoke all the damn time.
Yeah. Here's my frustration with NBA players, right?
Mhm.
I think it's safe to say that Bronny is in the league because of LeBron.
Oh,
I
definitely,
mean, the
yes.
Lakers literally gave up a first round pick because of him. I
Yeah, and
think it's safe to what's
they
up?
told everyone to not pick him up either. They told other
Right,
people
right.
because I think Golden State could have picked him up.
So he used his leverage, right? Just like he
Yep.
uses leverage to trade for certain players and get certain pieces around him. How many times have we seen LeBron in his career wave off a play call from a coach and run what he wants to run?
Yeah.
Here's my problem with this. I have no problem with a player or an employee in this case exercising their power. My problem comes when it's time to take accountability for the decisions that you made.
Sure.
Because if we're being honest, the Bronny thing ain't working out. He's not looking NBA ready. And if the project is a success, then he'll be there to take all the credit. But if it's a failure, guess what? Do they stick around and take the blame? Or do they demand to get traded to another team?
Exactly.
This
Could,
is
could
like
you,
this is some accountability dodging on LeBron's part. And I acknowledge that LeBron is one of the greats, but we living in a new era where these players got this crazy amount of power and say so on operations, but they got to take the accountability that comes with it.
yeah,
That's number one. And number
totally.
two, just on some man type stuff, if Stephen A didn't say anything that was wildly out of pocket or disrespectful, then LeBron was overreacting. Period.
Yeah,
You got to learn how
100%.
to disagree with people and keep your composure. LeBron is the face of the league still. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people want to put other names in there, but he's still the face. So at some point, he's gonna have to. This I think this was kind of an L for him. Let Bronny fight them battles.
L for him, L for NBA too, because this wasn't a good look on the NBA. You got the face of the league checking a sports reporter. These sports reporters got Hall of Fame votes, so
Yeah,
these are
they
people you're
do.
supposed to work with, who watches your sport consistently. And this is other thing that people are not talking about. There are other members, other like Kevin Love, and I want to say Draymond Green, or I don't know if Drake. I don't know. I didn't see if Draymond did say something. I believe he did because of what Stephen A said. But I know Kevin Love said something, and you got all these players wanting to, try to kick Stephen A when he's down. I wish LeBron had checked one of these other damn players because it just showed you how weak all these other players are. Kevin Love, that dude ain't been relevant since LeBron left. And so Kevin Love trying, and I'm not trying to put on my cape for Stephen A, but come on, man. Like you know damn well LeBron was in the damn wrong, and you acting like Stephen A. Like I don't care what Stephen A. said or he was trying to clean it up. He's supposed to clean it up. He ain't like you idiots where he's just gonna like just crash out because somebody said something bad about him. Like
Yeah.
that's not how he's gonna operate. I mean, like, could you imagine if King Griffey Jr.'s father, I forget is it King Senior?
Senior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Senior.
So could you imagine if King Griffey Sr. had crashed out if the media had some smoke for King Griffey Jr.? Like, could you imagine like how those conversations would go? You got one of the first father son duo and also black men who are competing, and I don't remember what the stats were for for senior, but we know junior, his numbers were off the charts. So could you imagine if they were like just if they just start going in after him if he had like a bad season or a bad game or whatever the case is, and he started crashing out? No, man. This is where LeBron just lost. Like, this is going to be with LeBron forever, though, because even though LeBron, for the most part, his off the court hasn't really been. I don't care for LeBron's politics. I will respect his game, but as for his politics, he doesn't need to be in there. But this is going to stick with them. This is going to be another unintentional conversation that he didn't have to have. That's going to travel with him, or be with him, or be connected to his name for years to come, though, because everybody's going to bring that up. Like, yeah, you were kind of a bitch for going after Stephen A. like that. So I got a clip here, but if you want to get one more thing in,
No, go ahead and run that clip.
yeah. Yeah, Stephen A. He has some. This is on the Gil Arena podcast, which is a good podcast. But Stephen A. had a different response here.
Yeah.
He found that energy.
Talking about the Lakers, that's about LeBron, not Bronny. Bronny wanted to get drafted by any NBA teams. He wanted to hear his name. It was LeBron that wanted him.
Hold on, let me run this back.
When we're talking about the Lakers, that's about LeBron, not Bronny. Bronny wanted to get drafted by any NBA team.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to hear his name. It was LeBron that wanted him as his teammate. What I'm saying to you is, if LeBron had rolled up on me, all he had to say, because I said this to Rich Paul when Rich Paul called me. If you had called me and said, Bron pissed off, he wants to see you man to man. I said, what would I have done? Rich Paul said, you'd have hung up the phone and you'd flew to LA. I said, thank you. Rather than come up to me at courtside, all you had to do was say, yo, I need you to see you after the game. You didn't do that. You said, you with my son. No, I wasn't. I was talking about you.
He got that energy. I told you.
I know he's number 55. I know he got work to do. Yeah. I believe that he got the potential. And by the way, I'm rooting for him. I ain't rooting against nobody. But I'm talking about yo. You did this. Number one, we know I'm right. Number two, we know the perspective that I'm coming from is real and it's authentic. Number three, he set this up. Number four, all you had to do was tell me respectfully. Excuse my language. That's
ain't wrong, though.
I mean, it might be a day late and $1 short, but I'll allow it though, because Stephen A, he did something that most men, and including Chris Rock, like most men would have reacted some type of way, some type of violence, some type of like, hey, you ain't about to be in my face like that. Something would have went down. They would have to get security to pry them apart. But Chris Rock and Stephen A, they got a better resolve than most men. I'm not saying that's a good thing, because I think Chris Rock should have kicked Will Smith down the stairs, pushed his ass down the stairs, and I think Stephen A should have got in LeBron's face. But they took it a different route, and it seems to be working out for him. Stephen A is making content off of it. Again, he signed a $100 million contract though, so it's not like it's Stephen A took a huge L, but unfortunately, it was at his expense.
If you gonna bring up Chris Rock, then we gotta acknowledge that Chris Rock played that situation perfectly. He did exactly what he should have done, and now the Oscars and Will Smith is under his heel right now. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. But a better example of how to handle stuff like this, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name right, but we all know who the Greek Freak is. He has a younger brother named Thanasis. Mason Cam are constantly going at him. Why is he in the league? His brother got him there. You know what he did late last year? He walked into the studio while they was recording. He said, let's have a conversation about what you said. And they sat down and they aired out their grievances and they dealt with it right there on the podcast. That's how you're supposed to handle stuff like that. But LeBron, I don't know. I guess he's just built differently. I don't know, man.
I don't think it's that.
I'd have been on that type of time.
I think it's just because of Stephen A. Smith, just because they have some bad blood, or there's definitely some disagreement there. But again, Stephen A. Smith ain't even his biggest supporter, or his biggest hater, or I don't know if I can call Stephen A. Smith really a hater, because if anything, he's pretty generous with his takes on LeBron James, because they know they have to treat LeBron a certain way. ESPN, the NBA players, the whole league, they all have to Jordan never got anything like this. People hated Jordan, and that's how Jordan wanted it. People hated Kobe, and this is the man that's supposed to be ahead of those guys. Get out of here. These are just stat padding numbers into the final years of his career, and he's been holding the league as well as the Lakers hostage for these last couple of years with this whole Bronny thing. So I'll be glad, and the league will be probably in a better place when he retires, and they can kind of kick Bronny out the damn league finally.
Do you see LeBron as like an Aaron Rodgers type? Because Aaron Rodgers kind of does stuff like this too.
Yeah, I know Aaron Rodgers. He's definitely been a different Aaron Rodgers, or maybe he's always been that same Aaron Rodgers. But ever since 2020, Aaron Rodgers has been singing a different tune though. But I still think this is way more egregious. I think this I'm trying to think of recent react. I mean, there was the one with Boogie Cousins when he checked a reporter, and that reporter went after his family. I'm like, I get it. Sometimes when they bring up family, I get it. I understand it. Boogie said Boogie apologized for that, and he still got suspended. And the Lakers, I mean, this is not a good look for the Lakers. The Lakers aren't going to do anything. I'm not expecting them to do anything, honestly. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't do anything either, or they didn't do anything. And they're probably not even going to have a conversation about it. Again, this is LeBron James who has the league scare. And actually, the crazy thing, LeBron is rumored to be creating another league on his own after he gets out of the NBA. So how's this man the face of your league? And Jerry's, who was the commissioner before Adam Silver?
That was David Stern.
Yeah, David Stern. David Stern's got to be rolling in his grave, because when you see this is how you left the league, and all you had to do is just don't fuck it up. Adam Silver, don't fuck it up. And what did he do? He fucked it up.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, and that's all I got on these guys. I mean, see, my hat's off to Stephen A, because at least he's trying to come back around again, day late, dollar short. But at least he's trying to clean it up, and so he doesn't look like he got his whole man card stolen. But it is what it is.
I'm with you on that 100%. Both of them be all right. Y'all both millionaires, multi-millionaires at that.
LeBron's a billionaire.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Billionaire and a millionaire. Yep,
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
Yep. So all right, next topic.
High school athlete was injured in an apparent attack during a championship track meet in Virginia. Take a look at this. Kaylin Tucker was competing in the 4x200 relay when an opponent hit her in the head with a baton. There it comes. The incident happened as Tucker was passing the other runner in the outside lane.
I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
The whole Coliseum pretty much gasped. I just jumped up out of the bleachers immediately and ran to her on the main floor.
This is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. Tucker, a junior, was later diagnosed with concussion. I mean, we saw it all unfold on the camera. According to her parents, the alleged attacker and her coaches have not reached out to check on Kaylin or apologize. They did, however, receive an apology from the girl's father and the athletic director of that girl's school. The Virginia High School League says it is reviewing this tape and the incident.
I want to play the other girl's response, because this is 100% cap. These folks, she was definitely wrong, but let me get this other girl's take on it as well too, because it's important that we see the full story and call out the cap when it happens.
Says they're telling their side of the story in reference to a shocking incident at a Virginia High School League indoor track meet that left.
Side note, shout out to the Latinas.
One athlete allegedly injured after she claimed she was struck by a baton held by IC Norcom High School senior Alayla Everett. Everett spoke exclusively to 10 On Your Side's Markeisha Jackson, who brings us much more.
The young athlete in question says there's more to that video.
Shout out to Markeisha Jackson. Wait, what state is this again? They got some lookers on the news station.
This is Virginia. And
Virginia,
hey. I can tell you Virginia's got talent like this.
Oh man, we have to do a visit up in Virginia. Sheesh.
Then meets the eye.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Alayla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom High School. She would have never thought her trip to the Class 3 track and field state finals last Tuesday would take a drastic turn.
They're going off of one angle.
Alayla visibly emotional because of this video from the meet. This was a 4x200 meter relay race, and she and a Brookville High School athlete.
Hey, quick, can you cry with those big lashes? Is that possible? Like,
man, they can do damn near anything with them lashes. They can fly if they wanted to.
All right.
Were rounding a curve on the track when they nearly collided with each other.
Okay, after a couple times hitting her, my baton got stuck behind her.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you talking about the smoke detector? Yep, Kevin Sanders told us.
And she got a dad. I don't know why the dad was like, I gotta take care of this.
Yep, that looks bad on the dad then.
Got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions, and I would never hit somebody on purpose.
I didn't have to see your first video, second video, 10th video. I know 100% that she won't do this to nobody.
Her parents outraged at the backlash. The IC Norcom relay team was disqualified, a ruling that a local USA track and field official finds questionable. He says a play-by-play look shows that the Brookville athlete was running closely to Alayla.
If a person comes up on the outside, they got to be a full stride ahead of me before they can cut in front of me.
The other family spoke with the news station in Roanoke asking for an apology from Alayla, something she wants to give, but she says the other athlete hasn't been receptive, blocking her on social media, and instead the Everett family was served with court papers.
And now we have to go to a city 3 hours away that everybody hates our guts already.
They're assuming my character, calling me ghetto, racist slurs, death threats, all of this just because of a 9-second video.
VHSL says they are still reviewing the situation, and Portsmouth Public Schools says they will support whatever ruling comes from the league. Markeisha Jackson, 10 on your side.
Damn, Markeisha Jackson. Oof.
You know how the news works. They intentionally put that candy up there.
They put
and it works.
You gotta look the part.
Yeah.
Wow. So what do we learn, class? Don't let your kids act a fool at a track meet or any other place, because you can be sued by someone in that state or 3 hours away. You can be sued. Like, this is idiotic. And for them to try to act like we didn't see this in 4K, and I know it's kind of grainy, but the point is, majority of people, we all saw what she did. We saw how she did it. And if she had just came clean by, look, I lost my temper, like somebody else we just covered, lost a temper, and they reacted a certain way. And that girl had a skull fracture and a concussion. Like, those are all serious things. She probably won't be able to, that's probably the end of her season right there.
And to be honest with you, she's well within her right to not want to accept that apology. There's still quite a bit of information that's missing here, so I want to be fair to both of them. But the truth is, this don't look good for her. The young lady that was swinging the baton. Number one, this was a 4x200 event, so this was not a distance event.
Yeah.
So more than likely, you're not going to break away by a huge margin from anyone. And you just heard that coach say, you can't cut somebody off unless you have a stride and a half in front of them. This was a short running event, and that rarely happens in short running events.
Yeah.
I thought I read a story somewhere that the lady initially said that the baton was stuck in her hair, and then she tried to readjust it, but that's a stretch. That's a huge stretch. It looks like, I don't know if there's some smoke between them or not, or some history, or maybe it's a rivalry school or something. But if you watch the video again, they were fighting for like second place. They weren't even fighting to win the race. Neither one of them was in the lead. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out what her intent was. To me, it looks like, you and I both did track, but we did the jumping events, but we know enough about the running events. It looks to me like she stepped outside of her lane too soon. It was about to collide with the other lady. She probably got frustrated because she felt she was in her way, and she just had a bad reaction. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not ready to call it malicious intent. She should just get a reprimanding. She should have to pay her medical bills and move on. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But what I don't get is, I don't know why the father hasn't even tried to, like, the father for the person who did the attack. I don't know why he hasn't tried to talk to the other father, or at least to the mom and dad, which it could be difficult, and be like, look, I know my daughter messed up. We're gonna make her apologize, and I'm not sure if she wants to accept it or not. It is what it is. But I need her to apologize because she hurt your daughter, and that's not how we raised her. And it's unfortunate that this occurred, but we're going to do everything. We're trying to make it right. We want to take care of the medical bills. It probably would have stopped right there. It would have stopped right there, but it's gone viral. It went to the news, and she's trying to have these crocodile tears. And again, I've said this before. I got this from CGA. If they crying on the camera or crying on video, it's fake tears, because she had plenty of chances. Well, if I take the kid out of it, fine. The parents had plenty of chances to say, like, okay, this is really bad, and we deserve all the smoke. Talking about all the stuff, like, yeah, I'm sure you don't want to hear all the slander and everything, blah blah blah. But this is what happens when you mess up, when you do things like that, when you attack. Like, could you imagine the backlash had that been a white girl striking a black girl? That place probably would have ended up in riots, though, just because of the optics. And then this would have been all over the news. The woke activists would have been trying to make this viral, like, this is all because of Trump or whatever, like Trumpism or whatever they want to say. Like, this thing would have went a whole nother level. And part of the reason why this really hasn't gone nuclear is because both both athletes were black women, or black girls. So there's some, optics here that people are not paying attention to. And the father is lucky if he gets away with or that family is lucky if they just get away with just paying the medical bills, because he said they got to travel over 3 hours. And so if they don't make it, that'll be a default judgment. So they better try to take care of this before it gets too far into it without having to really, get lawyers involved, or maybe lawyers are involved, but they're running that tab up though. So you already know what you got to do to make this go away.
They got something to appear in court. So I guarantee you there's lawyers involved. The amount of people who try to represent themselves is not what people think it is. But again, just settle with them and be done with this. If she doesn't have any history of this, I'm willing to give her grace. I do think those were crocodile tears a little bit. However, you and I both know how savage the internet is. And we both know that people are not above looking up who someone is and sending them crazy out-of-pocket messages, even if they're a little kid.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe her 100% that she's probably been receiving.
Oh, yeah. I agree too. But when she says all the racist slurs and everything, maybe she's getting those, but I can guarantee you the majority of them are pretty much holding you accountable. So it sounds like she's trying to deflect. She's trying to like sympathy, but also she's trying to tell them like, hey, don't worry. I mean, I know I struck her, but don't worry about it though. Like, this is not really a big deal. You should be worried about them coming after me, just because in some ways she's trying to play the black card.
That's the go-to. That's definitely the go-to. And here's another piece of it. You and I are both parents of daughters. And I guarantee you, if that was our daughter out there on the receiving end of some stuff like that, it might have got a little bit intense for a minute. I ain't even gonna lie. But I would have eventually collected myself. But I don't play when it comes to my little girl, man.
Unfortunately, the crazy thing, when it comes to like these kids like assaulting each other, the law really doesn't do anything. That's the crazy part. Now, you put hands on some kid for messing with your kid, you go to jail no matter what happened. That's how messed up these laws are. It's like, even if they do hurt your kid, you really can't even do anything about it, unfortunately. I mean, you can go after the dad. I mean,
for the record, I wasn't talking about me going after the kid, but at the very least, I'm gonna let them parents know how trash they are for raising a daughter who did something like that to my daughter. That's what
I don't know. Sometimes these kids, I mean, sometimes these kids need to get punched. Like, they just need I'm not advocating for violence. Let me strike that. But sometimes
we on YouTube.
Yeah, sometimes these kids need a good shaking.
They need to be humbled. A lot of these kids need to be humbled. They definitely do, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They haven't gotten to the point where they've had to square up with life, because all they've gotten are the protections that they get from their parents. And then when they get out there in the real world, they can't handle stuff like this. She got to stand tall, and whether she meant to do it or not, it happened. Stand tall and deal with it and move on. That's what we got to start telling people.
Yeah, exactly. Facts. So I hope, hopefully they can come to some type of agreement where they just take care of the medical bills, and they can move forward though, because having a concussion and a skull fracture, that's a serious thing. So
yeah, that does not sound, it don't look good for her at all.
No.
Lady who's on the baton.
Yep. All right. Next topic.
Yes, you're hearing it right. You have a 21-year-old rookie, NFL rookie, Xavier Worthy, who has a fiance who's 24. Her name is Tia Jones. And they had a very interesting start to their relationship. It kind of mirrors Travis Hunter, because apparently when he DM'd her before, she ignored him. She had no interest in him until she moved to Texas. As a matter of fact, it's all in this particular article here. If you don't believe me, look at the title here. Now we're gonna get to that. We're gonna peel back the layers.
Shout out to Jay the Black too, everybody.
Oh my God, man! Listen,
amazing content creator.
Man, the details of this relationship, this was apparently done to, but now we know that it was the allegations that it was Tia Jones. And you want to know why this could have happened, even though him and his lawyers and we'll get to what the lawyer said, because they are vehemently denying this. He's vehemently denying this, even though he got arrested. Apparently, she put hands on him. She put hands on him. Think she may have took out some of his hair, and he wanted her out of his house. Now, this is his fiance. You know why he wanted her out of his house and she refused to leave? Because he caught her cheating on him. He hired a private investigator. Now, this is a 21-year-old football player. A lot of these young NFL, NBA players are so cocky and arrogant.
I'm going to stop it there. So essentially, everybody, that is Xavier Worthy. And just like Jay the Black just said, he caught his fiancée cheating, but what ended up happening was she called the cops on him. He got arrested, and the prosecutor in that case has actually dropped the charges, though. And so this is the conversation that continues to happen with a lot of these athletes. And maybe it's happening to white athletes, but it just feels like I see a lot of black athletes falling into this mess where they are picking some of these women that are, predatory picking them. They end up, getting charges put on them or cheating on them, or just acting a whole strag out here because I don't know why she probably thought, I mean, she's a good looking person. Like anybody saying she's not good looking is capping on that. But maybe she, who knows why some of these women are doing what they're doing, though. But for a lot of the men, they're still going to give this woman another chance, even after what she did. She's going to have another hole do. She'll probably get another football player that will bust it down because he'll be like, well, she didn't do it to me. She didn't do it to you yet. Like, just like their love. They love you right now. But again, unfortunately for Xavier Worthy, and he's lucky because he's just a rookie, right now. This is his first year. Yeah. So for Xavier Worthy, I mean, he could have easily been cut. They generally cut these players within a certain amount of time. And I don't know if ESPN has covered it, but usually when this stuff goes mainstream, they're all covering it, they're all condemning it, and we don't, they're all trying to have some type of conversation related to violence against women, blah blah blah. And this woman just lied. She ain't gonna be charged. Ain't no repercussions gonna happen to her.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that went wrong here. Number one, she curved you at first, dude. She curved you a couple of times. She didn't want you until she moved to Texas, and then later on figured out who you was and what you were going to turn into.
Yeah.
So you're already building on a bad premise right there. We talked about Brittany Renner warning the Jackson State players in the past about how these type of women operate, right? She did her intel, then all of a sudden decided, click on that third picture, by the way. That's the one I meant to share with you.
This one?
Yeah. When I see stuff like this, dressed like this, to me, that's sending choosing signals, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe he just got infatuated with the looks. Hiring the private eye was a good look.
It's definitely the looks.
But these are the type of women who are the most dangerous because they'll take their femininity and they'll use it to abuse. They'll use the power of it and abuse it against you. These are the type of women that will hit you and then call the police and say you hit them. So the police are going to side with her. And the fact that she didn't even want to leave when she got caught for cheating, that should be another red flag because she know that lifestyle about to be gone. She want the lifestyle, but she don't want to respect you. Men operate with respect. She didn't respect you, bro.
Honestly,
I think she's
gonna get another one. I straight up think she's gonna get another one.
Oh, she definitely gonna get another one. And until her looks fade, the world is her oyster. Yeah. She's gonna find another dude. He exited the simp category. He said, no, I'm not your simp. I know what you're doing. I found the proof. I'm gone. You got to get up out of here.
Oh, we giving him a complete pass?
He chose wrong, but he's also only 21. Who chooses right at 21?
No, I'm not gonna let you. Nope, I'm not letting you. Gonna give him the age. Nope.
So you expect perfection at age 21?
Hey, who signed that contract? I don't know what his rookie's contract. Who signed it?
If he had real OGs in his ear, they would have been telling him don't get married anyway because you about to snatch the bag. But again, he's 21. I don't even know why he's engaged at 21, honestly.
Exactly. And they had a whole bunch of, there's a whole troop out there about Travis Hunter and his chick telling them not to get married. So the information is out there. These new dudes, these young dudes, they want to do things their own way. They want to find out the hard way. And this chick is older than he is as well, too. I think she's 25, he's 21. So it's not like, I mean,
I can't believe you compared him to Travis Hunter, though. Travis Hunter is still in it. Travis Hunter is still in it. This man right here said, "You crossed my line, and now you got to go." He set a standard, and he stood by it. Travis Hunter didn't do that.
No, I can't give him a pass though, because I can't give him a pass. I can't give him a complete pass. He probably didn't think his chick was cheating on him, but there's got to be a lesson learned here. There's got to be when and maybe he will disclose this, like he needs to have like a conversation on somebody's podcast. Maybe he'll go to Shannon Sharp podcast talking about what signs did he see that led him to believe that this chick ain't the one. Because when did you call off the wedding first? Like he had to have a suspicions. Like this isn't like all of a sudden you have suspicions, you hire a private eye. Matter of fact, if I gotta hire a private eye to catch you cheating, you're already cheating. You're done. That's where I can pass, because he had enough knowledge to know that if his chick is cheating, he suspected she was cheating, and then also he hired a private eye. It's already done. Like it came from somewhere, and this is Xavier Worthy. You're gonna get another one. There's another one that's gonna look like her. Actually, she looks like Angel Reese. Go get Angel Reese if you want. You're gonna get different problems, but I don't know if she cheats.
I just, man, one thing we will agree on, and I did not say he avoids accountability here. He chose wrong. I started my sentence by saying that. He does have to own it.
When you say chose wrong, we should definitely dive into that though, because that's kind of I heard this on Anton's panel where somebody was like, "You chose wrong." These women change their minds because the clouds or the zodiac sign are different. So when we say chose wrong, we mean there were signs, and he still kept choosing wrong. If you got to hire a private eye, you definitely chose wrong. So
see, I'm familiar with somebody who also makes a lot of bread. I have one millionaire friend, and one thing that he always tells me is that when he vets a woman, he asks for tax returns and he hires a private eye.
That's actually that's bold.
He does it just as a standard practice. Because he's found out that he's been dating women before that have felony assaults and never told him about it.
Yeah.
So if you got the bread to do it, do it. Maybe something did drive him to hire that private eye. I believe wholeheartedly, and I've said this before, a woman will show you who she is every single time if you just shut up and listen, let her talk, and watch what she does.
Yeah.
She's going to show you who she is every single time.
Yeah.
I don't know how long they were together, but it couldn't have been that long if he's only 21. So ultimately, it's better that he got out now and didn't even get to the wedding, because she'd definitely be coming for half if they were married.
Yeah. And then this is the other thing too. And this one doesn't have a lot of comments on there though, but we see this all the time. The power couple, they kind of look like a rap duo. She's an athlete, and I think she blew out her ACL or something. She got injured. So, but obviously she wasn't going to be the breadwinner in this situation though. And I know a lot of people want this. They want black love. The black love we've been seeing lately has been a little toxic. So unfortunately for them, and luckily for him, it didn't go another way though, because it could have easily went south. And we have seen a couple players that found themselves in this situation, and they were at the hands of people that look like them. I mean, I wouldn't say look like them, but same skin color. So if you want black love, if you want to be the power couple, then you got to like adhere to that standard. You can't be cosplaying. You can't just be posting these pictures. You have to live it. You have to make sure that person that you say this is going to be the representation of black love, because if it blows up, then everybody's going to be like, that's not the black love that we were talking about. That's not the black love that we wanted. And she tried to get this dude arrested.
Yeah. I don't know if, as soon as you said she was an athlete, I found another IG page. I'm not sure if this is her or not, but they look very, very similar. Because I was wondering, when I pulled that page up, there was only 6 photos on there. I'm like, typically, chicks that's cheating typically throw out choosing signals somewhere on social media. What's that?
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, why is there only 6 photos on here?
Yeah, I think this may be her actual page. I'm not 100% sure this is her. I hope it is because the very first thing that says on her page is "I am a woman of God."
Yeah.
Oh man, I think this is her though. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure.
Look, Adidas still has her name on there. See, this is the problem with like a lot of like when these women do stuff like that, like had it been the other way, he's losing all his endorsements. So he wouldn't be able to keep those endorsements on his page. She got this man, she was cheating and got him arrested and they dropped the charges, but they're not even going to pursue charges against her. But it doesn't even matter though. The optics here is that she was lying or she was cheating and she got caught cheating and she tried to get this and she tried to put false charges on him. That's why it's so hard to like believe all women because when you got stuff like this, and I don't see. Here, let me check. Actually, check the comments.
You got to check one of the pictures on
Yep,
the
this is
comments
her.
of one of her thirst traps.
Yep, this is her. Yep, this is her. Putting
She
woman
definitely got
in
a
your
few.
bio.
She definitely got a few thirst trap pictures on here, but
Oh yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother thing though. But let me go ahead and like this. Yeah, see, this is unfortunate. This is a lot of the unfortunately toxic women. They do stuff like that. Oh, she turned the comments off on this bad boy. Which one's the thirst trap? I mean, I feel like they're all thirst traps.
take your pick. There's some bikini pictures in there. There's some pictures of her wearing some very tight clothing. There's a few. You'll find them. Just keep scrolling. But
Jeez.
Here's the thing: if you are a young
And
woman,
I'm doing this for the fans. I'm not doing this. I mean, I'm doing it for myself.
Yeah, this ain't personal research. We doing this for y'all. We doing this for y'all. The problem with a lot of us younger men is we still thinking with the wrong head. So it's easy for a beautiful woman to come in and charm. We ignore all the other character stuff that really matters for something long term. So it sounds like that's what happened here, but at least he corrected it before there was true financial damage. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I will give him credit for that though, because a lot of times men will be like, well,
They'll stay for the abuse. I lied.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, they're like, well, she's learned her lesson. She's gonna be a different person right now. Why she's calling the cops on you? It's unfortunate though, because they could have, first of all, they could have made an amazing athlete between the two. They're making like that baby is going to be either a gymnast, track star, or football player, just off rip. And now she's probably gonna get hooked up with a rapper dude or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, there's a surgery picture.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll see more of her. Yeah, you know what? There's always OF. OF is always the fallback resort for a lot of folks.
Honestly, though, with her, I'd be surprised if she did get on there though, just because she still has her look. She still, I mean, most of these track stars, honestly, though, I feel like you should already have a dude. Like track, I have yet to see a track star that wasn't a baddie, like straight up. Like just haven't seen it.
Track definitely got him, but you said she won't do OF because she still got her looks. I mean, Liz Cambridge, the WNBA lady, she's on OF now. And she still got her looks too.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, that's a good point. It could definitely happen though. It'd be hell of a fall off though too. So I'd be surprised.
She said she made more in 1 month doing OF than she did her entire season in the WNBA.
Yeah. This is another crazy point too. Even with all of Xavier Worthy's money, because obviously he was the main breadwinner over there in their household, still didn't keep her happy. Still couldn't keep her happy. This is this is a good example of like, even if you had all the money in the world, they still probably gonna cheat. They're gonna be like, well, I'm not happy. I got everything. I don't need anything else. Or I don't have any purpose or whatever. And you should have gave me a kid. I'm glad he didn't, because that would have been a whole nother problem though. But still not happy. Like cheating. That's ridiculous.
Oldest thing I ever heard, man. Me and my wife went to a marriage retreat while we were still engaged back in 2008. We went to a marriage retreat. Pastor was talking. He made all the couples stand up, look each other in the eye, and say, "You are not responsible for my happiness." Blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because if you marry somebody based on happiness, that is one of the worst reasons to marry somebody. Fellas, if you marry her because she makes you happy, that is a dumb reason to marry somebody. That's not good enough. Happiness changes. There's going to be times where y'all wake up and y'all don't like each other. But can y'all still persevere through that and love each other? Because happiness ain't going to always be there. You got to make your own happiness. You have to be a naturally, this is why CGI always talks about going out by yourself and having good times by yourself and creating your own experiences. Because whether she stays or not, you still know how to have a good time and be happy. So your happiness is not dependent on what she does. And that's how we got to get these men to start thinking.
Yeah, it's
my wife should be contributing to my happiness, and she absolutely does, but she's not responsible for it.
And shouldn't be taken away from it too.
She shouldn't be taken away from it either. Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully Xavier, I mean, he kind of got the best scenario. He didn't lose his job, and I mean, his name took a hit, but he should be able to clean that up. And I hope he comes out here and starts telling some of tell the story about, you know, how he almost lost it all. So
yeah, young men need to hear this, man. Share your story, bro.
Yeah. So all right, next topic.
A resident alien, he can be deported under U.S. law for if the Secretary of State has any reasonable ground to believe he would have a potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequence. And you mentioned the student organization. The student organization put out.
Let me finish. But before you move on, because I think that's a really important.
They always doing Ken.
That's the statute that they're using.
Yeah.
Have you seen any evidence that suggests that there is actually a serious reason to believe that this student is going to be a threat to to national security?
I mean, I've certainly watched the abomination that's going on at Columbia and Barnard and other places, and I will just tell you, and I'll just tell you that I'm
not going to let you move on because this is
I'll tell you why it's a threat to national security if you let me answer you.
Well, Scott,
do you want me to answer you or not?
Okay.
His organization says we are dedicated fighting for the total eradication of Western civilization. Okay. He's not a citizen.
All right, let me repeat that. I want Scott to repeat that. I was talking.
Not a citizen. He doesn't need to be here.
You just described him having viewpoints that you disagree with. Again, is that enough to have someone lose their rights in this country?
He has viewpoints that, in my opinion, jeopardize the security of the United States.
But how?
He is obviously a radical who is here to foment.
No, he's not a radical at all.
Violence against the United States government.
He wants to destroy Western civilization.
You're saying eradicate Western civilization doesn't make you a radical?
Oh man, they going for this for like the whole clip. I have never seen Democrats and liberals do the amount of mental gymnastics to make this case for this guy. And again, for the folks that don't know, there was a protester. I want to say I forgot where it was at, but the dude's name is Muhammad Kali. Blah blah blah. So the point is, this guy is associated to a radical organization. Also, this guy is a father and has a wife. And I bring that up though, and not to give him grace or anything like that. But this guy's out here protesting while his wife and his kid are at home. This guy is acting a whole fool, trying to terrorize students. I mean, who is students, and he is attempting to do some type of harm, do some type of vandalism, and the media is just acting like this is no big deal. He shouldn't be deported because he has a green card. And for whatever reason, and I'm not saying like I know everything about American history or what it takes to be a citizen, but whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But a green card does not make you a U.S. citizen. I don't know when people started thinking that was a thing, but a green card does not make you a U.S. citizen. So you can be revoked and you can be sent packing.
Yep, absolutely. The Dems are hilarious to me at this point. Like, I don't understand. It's like they refuse to learn the lessons from this ass kicking they just got in this last election.
Yeah.
Like the playbook is so old and worn out. They're down by 50 points in the fourth quarter with 30 seconds left, and they keep running the same play.
Yeah.
That's how I look at the Dems.
Fourth and 30.
4th and 30. Less than 2 minutes left. They're just going to quarterback sneak or something goofy like that. Like, y'all been outsmarted. Y'all been outmaneuvered. Y'all been out strategized. And Lindy Lee, if you don't know who she is, she's one of the biggest people who bring in money to the DNC. She left. And now she's on the Republican side. Like, how many Democrats are you going to see leave y'all before y'all realize how full of it y'all are?
Yeah.
And one of the things she talked about, I'm gonna bring it back to this topic because the topic is domestic terrorism. We know that Trump had 2 attempts that we know of on his life, right?
Really 3.
We know that with the help of people in the United States, X and Tesla were both tried to be hacked by people in Ukraine with help from people in the United States.
Per Elon's Twitter.
Yes, yes. So what does this all tell me? This tells me that the Dems are so salty that they lost that they would rather see this country fall than try to help make positive changes for the people that actually live here. And
Yeah.
Lindy Lee talked about this in her interview with PBD on Valuetainment. I highly recommend y'all look that up. She talked about this. All they cared about was abortion, or excuse me, baby deletion.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about any of these issues coming up where people telling them at the wall, hey, there's people getting through this wall, and they're not just coming from Central America, and they're tied to ISIS and Al Qaeda and other terrorist orgs. And they ignore all this to lean in heavily on trans and sports and baby deletion. Like, what are we doing here? They're not even adjusting, man. It's just frustrating watching them, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think the Democrats, they think are really liberals in this situation. They think this is the playbook, and they don't realize that this stuff is going to be on the internet forever, and they're going to remember. Well, I mean, we remember it, and I think that's part of the reason why X has been so powerful, because all these other places would have suppressed it. I don't think I even knew who Scott Jennings was until until Elon purchased X. So you have Scott Jennings, and he's one of the few people on CNN that's like worth the listen. There's another guy, I forget his name. He's pretty good too. It's the black dude that's on there. I don't know if he's really conservative, but he will definitely push back on a lot of points because this is common sense positions. But yeah, with Scott Jennings though, this is a normal day in the neighborhood for this guy. I don't know why, for the life of me, he stays with it, and all he's bringing is facts. He doesn't do hyperbole. He doesn't exaggerate. This is 100% facts is what he brings in. And for them to sit here and fight, like right now, they're doing marches in, I think is this in New York? I think it's in New York, wherever it's at. They're doing marches in this guy's honor. They're trying to say like what the United States is doing is not constitutional. Like, again, I don't know where these people are getting their education from. I don't know why this is the guy that they're trying to fight and rally behind. Honestly, what reminds me of, it's like they're trying to make him the next George Floyd, like only except this guy's about to get deported. Like, I don't understand why they want this guy to be on the level with that, because they're just trying to use him as their quote unquote martyr and push whatever stupid agenda they have against Trump. Like this doesn't make any sense. And for the people like that are against, I mean, they're probably never Trumpers. There's no way you can be okay with this, because if you're not okay with the January 6ers, then you're not okay with these Palestine protesters just because they're going after the whoish folks. Like, you can't be okay with that, and you can't be okay with the Tesla protests where they're attacking people with Tesla vehicles and they're destroying Tesla chargers. I mean, all I ever heard with them before Elon linked up with Trump was like, Elon's a great guy. Elon's for the the Green New Deal or whatever. He's trying to make the earth cleaner or whatever. He has an American company that has American workers. Elon on paper is doing everything that he is. I mean, you would want out of all your companies or American companies, but for whatever reason, they just turn a blind eye. And this is what I think is leading up to these attempts that led up to attempts on Trump's life, because they push out this rhetoric. They won't clean it up. They try to justify it, and they go against anyone that goes against them or who doesn't agree with them. And so this is dangerous rhetoric, and this is something that you drive a Tesla, you can have it vandalized. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I mean, I wanted to get a Tesla. I can't afford a Tesla, but I wanted to get one. And maybe down the road, maybe I will get one once all the smoke blows over. But the point is that you should not be attacking people because of their car choices. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Let me help you out if you lean on the left, because y'all still don't get it. So I just posted the link to Doge's website, and Doge provides live, up-to-date statuses on all of their findings. Why don't you focus on proving these things wrong, as opposed to your typical played out arguments of throwing out insults and shame? because that doesn't work. Why haven't you figured this out yet?
Right.
If you want to take them down and take the office back, and you truly do think your party is the better party, I don't agree with you, but that's your opinion to have it. Why don't you go through this list of Doge stuff and disprove some of these things that they're saying? Because to my knowledge, they've only proved one thing wrong that he said. I think that somebody found evidence that he overstated the amount of money they were sending to Gaza for condoms. But everything else on here, I've yet to hear anybody push back and disprove any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Y'all focusing on the wrong things. Y'all focusing on emotional stuff as opposed to policy. And I'm gonna tell you like this: if this Doge dividend happens, it's gonna be a long time before y'all in the White House again, because everybody's gonna remember that for a long time.
Yeah, they'll probably call it the Trump Doge dividend or whatever it is. But this is the thing, is that a lot of the leftists, no matter what they post, even with the local news, like, because they're biased, like, and this is on Facebook and Instagram. Unfortunately, if you want to get the news, you got to go to X. You can't get it off of these other. Even though Zuckerberg said it, we're going to be a little more balanced. No, you're not. People are still posting out fake information. Maybe you don't do as many takedowns, but they're still posting out posting misinformation. And there's no on X, they have the community notes. So I don't know what it is on Instagram or Facebook, but the point is they're still putting out that this bad information. Like, when you go to, and then the funny thing is, if you try to research the article or try to read the article, it's locked. So you be a subscriber. I know most of the people are not subscribers, so they create this fictitious headline that gets everyone riled up, and all you got to do is look up exactly what's happening, and then they don't do it. They refuse to do it. They just go off of what the headlines say, because they're doing off of clicks. And this is what's putting people, a lot of people, to try to say Trump was the king of misinformation. No, it's the left. They are the harbingers of misinformation. And it's like, I think the part of the reason they're doing it is because it's monetized. But if they were just told the truth, they would still make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
They just don't.
And bringing it back to domestic terrorism again. So the office, the Government Accountability Office, they do a U.S. terrorist assessment every year. I just posted an article to their most recent one. I think the next one's about to be released too. But over the last 10 years, I want to call out that U.S.-based domestic terrorism has increased by 357%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But hey, keep talking about baby deletions. Keep ignoring public safety and keep talking about baby deletions.
Yeah, and if you listen to Jasmine Crockett, she's going to tell you it's due to white supremacy or whatever, but that's not it. That's not what's creating these terror incidents. Not even close.
I want to call out that this report that you just pulled up, TR, came under the Biden administration. This report is not tied to Trump in any way. So even Biden's own party knows that domestic terrorism is a problem, but they're not talking about it for some reason.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know, it's funny. I was looking at it. I saw a bunch of blue dots, which is the blue dot was their logo for the Democrats last year.
Oh yeah.
That's
That was the
hilarious.
Nebraska thing they were trying to do.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So
yeah.
All right. Last topic. All right. So another football player, this is an ex-football player, caught into some crazy, I don't want to say shenanigans, because the allegations here are very extremely terrible. So ex-NFL player Le'Veon Bell ordered to pay $25 million to cousin who accused him of raping her when she was a child. And let me scroll down here. Le'Veon Bell, a court order retired NFL star Le'Veon Bell to pay $25 million to a family member who accused him of raping her when she was young at 6 years old. Man, I see, this is what when these false allegations come out, this is what this stuff does. It's hard to believe any of this stuff. But the crazy thing is, they've already gone through the process of granting the lawsuit. So maybe we'll find out a little bit more as I read on. Any early thoughts, MC?
Yeah, I noticed. I put another source, and it said that Bell is fighting this. He said he was never served. He didn't know that this was coming. It never happened, and he intends to fight back. And to that, I say, you better. If you're innocent, you ain't got no choice but to fight, because this could be a potentially permanent stain. If you did
they
not do
buried
this, you gotta fight with everything you got. If you did
yeah
do it, you about to have a tough time. You about to have a real tough time. But
they buried it. This is
he says he was never served. If
yeah
he was never served, that means he never had the opportunity to build up a legal defense. He never appeared in court. So if that's true, this might get overturned on that alone. But
but
what I'm trying to figure out is this a civil suit or a criminal suit? It sounds like it's just civil.
civil. Yeah. So according to a
She
lawsuit, no, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
I
you
was
go
gonna
ahead.
say,
You got it.
according to a lawsuit filed Franklin County, Ohio, in March 2024, a woman named Jada Bell claimed to be cousin of Le'Veon Bell, accused him of being non-consensual. I don't want to say it. Relationship with her when she was just 6 or 7 years old. The abuse, Jada alleged, continued for a roughly decade and stopped when she turned 18. Le'Veon, whose most recent spotlight came during his appearance at the Donald Trump rally. Oh, interesting. Is 8 years older than her, and she claimed the abuse would resume whenever he returned to Ohio from Michigan State, where he played college football. So, in response to the verdict, Thomas Schaefer, Le'Veon's attorney, said his client adamantly denied the allegations. He should, and further, he was never served, like we said earlier. So, um, this is how the legal system that people have been loving lately. Like when the legal system is working against Trump, it's accurate. Does this sound like the legal system worked just justifiably for Le'Veon Bell? Does it sound like it
If
worked
he
with Xavier Worthy? If
if
this
he
is the
was
legal
never
system,
served and never had time to put anything together, then no, the legal
yeah.
system's trash.
This
However,
was
oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
I was gonna
Go ahead.
say this was. I mean, I almost feel like this was, and they pointed out that he was at the Trump rally. This seems like this might have been fixed. This might have been some Soros handling because he's been attached to a lot of things
That's
allegedly.
why I'm always so slow to attach politics to stuff, man, because as soon as you throw politics into it, I know how emotional people get with politics, and I know how far they'll go to make the other side look bad. So if you're
Yeah,
going to tell me that this didn't come up until he was at a Trump rally, I got a whole bunch of other follow-up questions and skepticism.
yeah.
Now, on the flip side of this, I personally know someone who, as a young girl, lost her cousin took her virginity in a
Yeah.
similar situation.
Eek.
So stuff like this happens all the time. But again, everybody gets due process in this country, or they should. So more than likely, if he can prove that he didn't get due process, it's going to get overturned off of that alone. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I struggle with, and I know a lot of people get mad at me when I say this, why this should be a criminal lawsuit. I understand you want to get paid too,
I
but
think
where's the criminal lawsuit?
I think it's a statute of limitations on this actually.
Okay, I can't
So
speak on that, but
So
go ahead.
if you recall from the Trump case, the way he got charged,
Yes.
which was a sham, and they set him up from the beginning, but they created a law just to go after Trump. And so they said like, hey, anything that's happened in the last 10, 15 years, you could actually file charges, but you had to do it within a 1-year window. And they had what's her face, the loony, they had her create these charges because they said I would file charges if I could, and they created the window to go after Trump. They thought they were going to try to derail him from winning the election as well too. So, which is I think is textbook election interference. But the point is, yeah, a lot of these cases they really can't do criminal because of statute of limitations, though. But I got other questions though, like why didn't the parents come out? If she just turned 18, why didn't the parents come out and say like, hey, we're going to be filing these charges? And we stand where the door. We believe her that these things happen. This is messed up, and
Yeah.
for it to move so quickly through the process. Well, I don't want to say quickly though, but we shouldn't be finding. He shouldn't be finding out at the same time we're finding out. I think there's something messed up about that.
Right. And I do want to call out, I think TR would agree with me with this. These charges are egregious, they're terrible, they're horrible in every negative word you can think of. But when you throw out something that could have potentially permanent consequences to somebody, it's
Yeah,
very important that you stay calm, look at all the evidence before you side with one person or the other. Especially people that you don't know. You can't trust people that you don't know. So it's very important that you just chill out, let the facts come out. But I do want to call this out. March 10th, you know when Le'Veon Bell announced he was trying to do? He was trying to make a return to the NFL and play for the Steelers again. So there's a lot of things. So now this Trump thing, and now this coming back to the NFL thing. There's lots of considerations to be made here. I'm just wondering a couple of things now.
Yeah. And this is also another issue with Me Too allegations, though, because I think there's only one person or one woman that had a Me Too where either she lost her job or she got arrested or something. But there's really only been one woman out of that whole Me Too era that faced any consequences. And so women, this isn't a men versus women type of thing. Your sons, your nephews, any man in your family, he's going to have to deal with something like this. You think Le'Veon Bell's family is like, oh, wow, or someone in our family accused you of this? Like, how do you think that's going to go over Sunday dinner? Like, people, look, if you want us to start believing you, then you got to start calling out the people that are just either grifting or they're just making stuff up, though, because that whole Jay-Z, other grape allegation, that's going away. And I ain't seen no one go after that, the alleged victim that called out that lawsuit. Like, nothing's happened to them. And they get a lot of protections. And if they're wrong, or if it turns out they were lying, oh, well, got it wrong. All right, next day, let's move on. Like, it's so messed up. And this should also highlight for men, because we just covered like 3 situations where a man, I mean, you have everything to lose, and you don't have to be rich to kind of be in these situations. Like that Stephen A thing and LeBron James. Look, you don't have to be rich. You just got to be in the wrong place, wrong time. You step on somebody's shoes, or they look at your girl, or you think they're trying to talk to your girl. That's a fight. You can get skinny pop.
Right.
There's a lot of things that could occur that just because this happens to rich people doesn't mean you cannot catch strays in the same direction.
Yeah, and right now this story is just breaking news. It's essentially he say, she say at this point. But I think we can with confidence say whoever's telling the truth, may the other person get the punishment that they deserve.
Exactly.
That's essentially what it comes down to. But if you're trying to come back to the NFL, nah, that might be done. You might have to chill out now. Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. So, all right. That is all we have for y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Final words, MC?
Yep. I know my camera's trash. We're going to work on it next week. But hopefully, for all those haters talking about my audio, you'll notice the difference on this one.
Definitely. All right.
Love the haters too, by the way. At least I do.
Yeah, love hate, I guess.
All right. They say love always wins. I'm a jack that from them. They took everything else from us.
Right. All right. Good night, everybody.
Peace.